We're going to look at these first two requirements together simply because the first one is rather misleading. What we've learned about stock options as part of some sort of a compensation package is that there was a lot of controversy around how do we account for that compensation expense, and historically it had been the intrinsic value method that said when you grant the stocks you look at the exercise price compared to the fair value of the stock, and if there's a difference there and the incremental difference times the number of stock options is what it's worth. And FASB has since changed the ruling in how we're supposed to account for that. The intrinsic value method no longer applies, which means we use a fair value method, some kind of a guesstimate of what these options are going to be worth into the future. And as a result, what we do when the options are granted is absolutely nothing. So there's no entry on the date of grant of the stock options, and that's actually fairly logical because at that point, at the point in time in which the company grants the options, the executives or the employees haven't really earned it yet. So they'll earn it over this thing called the service period, or it's typically the vesting period of the options. So at the grant date, nothing happens. And the next thing I want us to do is to look at the total compensation expense, because the argument is these things are worth something. Otherwise, the company wouldn't give them out, and the employees wouldn't even want them if they were worthless. So there is some sort of an accounting that needs to happen for the stock options, and we have to figure out what the value should be. And we're given a lot of numbers here. We're given the par value of the stock, we're given the exercise price per share, and then we're giving this fair value option, or it's not an option, it's what someone thinks using some sort of a model, an options pricing model. They think that these options are going to be worth $8 over the vesting period, or I don't quite know if it's over the 8 years or the 4 years, but regardless, this is what it's worth, is $8. So we do have to recognize at some point in time the total value of the shares, the options we're giving out to our employees. So we're going to be giving out 10 million of these options, and if they're each worth $8 according to our pricing model, then logically we have given away something that has value of $80 million. So that's simply the answer to the second part that says we're going to recognize at some point in time $80 million of compensation expense. And you'll see in the next part of the videos that starts to answer the question of, well, how then is the $80 million recognized? Is it all in 1 year? Is it over multiple years? And so on and so forth. So that's the answer to the first two requirements of this problem.